What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Today we are going to be going over my Wargreymon X Antibody Toolbox. This is a demonstration video and a deck tech to show you guys just how versatile that Wargreymon can be in any meta, whether it be your locals, regionals, whatever. So we're going to go ahead and start off since we got the Digitama laying down here. This is Koromon from BT9. While this Digimon has Agumon or Greymon in its name, it gets plus 1000 DP. I feel like this is super important because having a big body, especially since Alphamon, Black Wargreymon X, Gamamon, some of the new Ghost Game cards allow for massive DP numbers. This is really good to have, and it really matters a lot in deletion effects and everything. So having this over the draw power egg Koromon from BT5, I think it is, this to me is the better option. So I always want that DP boost as much as you can get it. So that's it for our Digitamas. We run 4 Koromon there. And now on to the rookies. We run, starting off here with, there's 3, where's the 4th one? We run 4 of the Agumon from BT12. This is your searcher. It allows DP plus 1000 on all turns for Greymon and Omnimon on its inheritable effect, which is really important because I think sometimes we always want to say Omnimon is the end all be all. The DP can get much larger than Omnimon actually in this meta. So this is your on play, reveal top 4 cards of your deck and add 1 Digimon card with Greymon or Omnimon in its name and 1 Tamer with Takemiya among them to your hand. Place the rest at the bottom of your deck. This is great. This is your searcher. You can Digivolve in the back with it. You can search with it. It's going to find you multiple cards that you may need, especially since this is a tech. We run multiple options, Greymon and everything. This is a very nice card to have. We run it as a 4 of. Now, going on to the rest of our rookies, we run 2 Agumon from starter deck 7. I love this Agumon because of its when attacking, this Digimon attacks the player, it gets plus 2000 DP for the turn. With Wargreymon from BT12, it will allow this ability to stack because it's when attacking, not a once per turn effect. So you can actually get plus 2000 because it's not once per turn and it does stack. So when we attack a player, which was pretty cool, yeah, it can actually stack. So we run 2 of that. I think it's a very good rookie to run. We do, however, run 2 of the promo Agumon, which everybody should be able to get. These are through the floor in price. They are now actually very much affordable in any flair that you like, whether it be the original or the adventure box, or was it yeah, it was the adventure box promo. However, this gives you your turn while this Digimon has Greymon in its name plus 2000. I've actually thought about switching this out because it is a blanket effect with Greymon. However, it allows for early pressure and plus 2000 DP. Like I said, as fast as you can get it means a lot. It's just your preference. Either or works good because the when attacking doesn't always come up. And last but not least, to round off our rookies, we run 4 copies of Agumon X Antibody. This card is phenomenal in this deck. It's on play when Digivolving your real top 3 cards. Add 1 card with Greymon or Omnimon in its name, or 1 X Antibody among them to your hand. Place the rest of the bottom of your deck. This works extremely well. It allows for an extra draw. Another really cool wombo combo is that you can do is if you have Agumon, you go ahead and play it out. You get to search for Greymon, Omnimon, and a tie. Then you can Digivolve for 0. You're going to draw off the Digivolution and search again. Maybe you didn't find the pieces you need. You need to do more search. That is a very good combo that allows you to basically and hopefully get 4 cards. A Greymon, a tie, and then a draw, and then hopefully something else. So we run 4 Agumon X antibodies in the deck. That is it for rookies. We run 12. You could run 13. I don't think it's necessary. I think 12 is a very solid number. On to our champions, starting off with BT12 Greymon. This is questionably one of the weakest cards in the deck. A lot of people prefer to play this with EX1 or, other cards of that nature because of how EX1 Greymon, we'll have a picture somewhere, when attacking, you get to play a tie. It's very cool. This is when digivolving. That's why it seems to be weaker for a lot of people. If you don't have a tamer with tie Kami in its name in play, you can play one tamer with tie in its name from your hand without paying its cost. I do agree that this only works if you don't have a tie in play. You can't play it. It has to be out in the main field to digivolve. So there's a lot of pros and cons for this card. The inheritable is what sticks it for me. While this Digimon has Greymon or Omnimon in its name, it gets plus 1000 DP. Also, this can be any tie. It can be red tie, black tie, blue tie, green tie, whatever tie you want. You can play one tamer, whether it be 3 cost, 4 cost. If they make a 6 cost tie down the road, you can use this Greymon to play it for free, which will probably make this even more busted if that ever does happen. We've got Rena and Mirai, they're 5 cost tamers. It could happen. You never know. Greymon card game, we're probably going to see tie down the road. So I prefer this Greymon over EX1. However, I do see the benefits of playing EX1. Now this, to me, the next Greymon in our list, is not a question of if you should run it. It's a question of how many you should run. And that is starter deck 1 Wargreymon, which gives security +1. The red version of this deck, whether you play Black Wargreymon or BT12 Raid Wargreymon, this card is a must to me. Just depending on how aggressive you want to play. If you're playing an aggressive version of the deck, this card will allow very, very early checks, bonuses to your checks, all that stuff. I think it is a very much needed card, no less than 2 of. If you take this out, I would say don't run this version of the deck. Go ahead and run a more controlling Black Wargreymon X anybody with a black base. On to our next Greymon. Lots of different Greymons, lots of different numbers. Like I said, this is a toolbox deck, and I have made it for my meta in order to compensate for certain players in my meta, certain decks in my meta. This is great for the memory choking. You don't use a ton of memory, but sometimes you can give a ton of memory. So having this BT5 Greymon is very nice because when digivolving, if your Digimon has Agumon in its Digivolution cards, you gain 1 memory. It's going to have it unless you're hard playing it, then you're not digivolving, so it doesn't matter. But when digivolving, it's very cool to pass the turn. It works really well with your Searcher Agumon, your Agumon X's. This is nice. Very, just easy way to pass turn, get some extra draw, and also build a stack already on the board. While this Digimon has Omnimon or Greymon in its name, it gets plus 2000 DP. This, once again, doesn't just specify Greymon, so this allows our Omnimon to get a buff as well. So we run 2 of it. On to the X antibody Greymons. 1 Greymon BT11. It is limited. I think it's a great Greymon. When your turn, when you would digivolve into a Greymon card with a card with Greymon in its name, you reduce the cost by 1 of each of their cards' colors. So we do run dual colored metal Greymons. So when you next digivolve, you're going to get it for 2 costs less, which is really good. Basically making it a 1 cost, and then all turns it gives a blanket effect when this Digimon has Greymon or Omnimon in its name, and it would be deleted or returned to your hand or deck by an effect. You can place 1 X antibody option from this Digimon's Digivolution cards at the bottom of your deck to prevent it from leaving play. Phenomenal card because this is why it's limited to 1. You run 3X antibody options in this deck, which you can just keep sliding it under there every time 1 gets removed. It's a very good card. Lots of protection there that you can use it for. We do just run it a 1 of because it is limited. But don't be afraid. We do have other options to save us yet again, and that is why that was probably limited. We have Greymon X Antibody. from BT9. It's all turns when Digimon has Omnimon Greymon in its name. It would be deleted, returned to your hand or deck. You can trash 2 of the same level in this Digimon Digivolution cards to prevent it from leaving play. Great card, because if you have Agumon, Agumon X, Greymon, Greymon X, Metal Greymon X, there's several sources you can strip to help you from being removed from the game. So lots of protection there. And that is it for our champions. On to our ultimates. My new favorite Metal Greymon in this card game is Metal Greymon from BT12. Has Raid. Raid is a very powerful ability that allows you to swing. You can basically swing your opponent, switching the target to attack one of your opponent's unsuspended Digimon with the highest DP. This deck can get super strong, super high levels of DP. Don't really need to worry about that. You can be going in through some shenanigans into Metal Greymon X Antibody for close to 10, 12,000 DP easily. And when you do this, all turns once per turn, when an attack target is switched, which is what Raid does, you can play 1 black or red Tamer card from your hand with a play cost of 4. Really opens the door for a lot of things. Yuyas, ties, security tie. It's really nice. Or, well, any Tamer really that comes up that we might want to play in the Greymon deck. It's a very good card, very versatile. And then it gives your turn, while this Digimon has a Greymon or Omnimon in its name, it gains Piercing. Piercing is great, especially when you're able to raid into an unsuspended Digimon. That Digimon is leading in battle, the check will go through. Now, on to Metal Greymon X. Anybody's 1BT11 Metal Greymon X. This is one of the cards you can switch depending on how you want to run this deck. This card is very controlly. It also gives you 2 protections that you don't inherently have. When Digivolving, until the end of your opponent's turn, this Digimon can't have its DP reduced by your opponent's effects, and it isn't affected by Digivolve. Then, if Metal Greymon or X Antibody is in this Digimon's Digivolution cards, we can delete a 6k body. Super cool, because like I said, it gives you 2 protections that you don't inherently have in the deck, which is DP reduction and Digivolve. Now, its inheritable is also great. Opponent's turn once per turn when a Digimon becomes unsuspended. If this Digimon has a Greymon or Omnimon in its name, trash the top card of your opponent's security stack. Trashing security is so very powerful because it just trash it, it loses security, no effects pop, no nothing. Well, take that back. There is some new security cards that are coming out which are barrier based that don't, trashing it, whatever. So that is a mechanic that'll eventually get around this. This is still a very good card because of later on some of our cards get reboot. Now, Metal Greymon X Antibody from BT9. We run 3 of this. I like this card. This is for the more aggressive player in you because it gives Sec +1 when Digivolving. And then if you have a Metal Greymon or an X Antibody in its Digivolution cards, it gains plus 3,000 DB. That is a big boy because with all of your on turn, all turns, when attacking effects, you can get this stack. I've had it up to 17,000, 18,000. Swinging with this for 3 checks. Pretty good indeed. Very good card we'd run 3 of because we run the more aggressive version of this deck. That is it for our ultimates. On to our megas. 2 Wargreymon from BT12. You can run more of this. Like I said, this is a toolbox deck, so we run different options in here. This is very good. And right now, this is Raid. When, we know what Raid does. You get to attack into the highest unsuspended DP. It's when Digivolving until the end of your opponent's turn. It gains plus 3,000 and reboot. All turns once per turn when attack target is switched, you can unsuspend this Digimon. Very cool effect. You can go ahead and Digivolve, swing, activate Raid. You've got Piercing if you've built your stack correctly with the Metal Greymon from BT12. You're going to swing through an opponent's big body, activate for hopefully at least 2 checks. Go ahead. You're going to unsuspend it. Go ahead, swing again, maybe activate Raid to get rid of another big body, or just swing for checks. Now this is where BT11 Metal X comes in handy. is now you've got reboot. So let's say you swing for those 2 checks, it goes to your opponent's turn, you reboot, trash the security. It's all about getting advantage and putting a lot of pressure on your opponent early on, and Wargreymon from BT12 allows you to do that. Now let's say for the next one, EX1 Wargreymon. It's got Blitz when digivolving and when attacking. Player, if you have a tamer in play, you can delete one of your opponent's Digimon with blocker. This goes good into Black Wargreymon, Anguromon, Gamamon, Jellymon, just anybody. Metal Garuru. This is something that we used to take in all the time against Metal Garurumon. It is just very, very good when attacking. You can delete a blocker. This works good into the mirror matchup because tie gives things blocker, the keyword. You can delete anything, go through it, pierce it, whatever, delete it, get it out of the way. Big body, little body, DP doesn't matter. You're going to go to headbed. This goes in and get to Crossheart, gets rid of annoying blockers and Crossheart. Super versatile card, and it gives you Blitz, which can allow you to activate your X anybody option to go into, whether it be Omnimon X, Wargrey X, Black Wargrey X, whatever. You can go ahead, do that, do some shenanigans there, delete a blocker, gain some memory and stuff. It works really well with this deck, considering we're running just Wargreymon X antibody. And basically pass you back the turn. So, very good card. You can run 2 of it if you want. I choose, however, to once again run one of my favorite cards since the beginning of the game, BT1 Wargreymon. Don't count this card out. When digivolving, it gains Sec +1. Your turn, this Digimon doesn't activate security skills on option card it checks. Built-in ADB, lots of aggression, lots of early swings. It is just a all-around great card for pressure. Using this, going into Wargrey X, it can just be a nasty play to survive, to just put pressure on. You can run this one. This deck is just here to show you how many options you have, and it's worked so well for me. I've been playing on the simulator. It works good. I've been playing this at locals. It works good. Very good card. Last but not least, Wargreymon Ace. Might as well go ahead and use it since we can. This comes in handy for multiple reasons. Let's say you've played it out, you don't have a blocker, you don't have any way to protect yourself. Wargreymon Ace comes into play. It has hand, counter, blast, digivolve. You can digivolve it on top of this card without paying its cost. Very cool. So anything with Greymon, yada yada. All turns, once per turn, when a card is removed from a security stack, you may unsuspend this Digimon. You can play this on top of anything. It's going to allow you to just drop down a blocker. And in this deck, it's not going to be at 11,000 DP. A lot of people's like, oh, that's a small body. No, it's going to be huge because with your all turns effects, you're probably hoping to get 13,000 with your tie, with your hopefully you're done. If you've done it on top of Metal Greymon X, you just swung in your player, you've been able to reboot. You might be able to get this up to like 14, 15,000 with your ties and everything. So very cool card to just slap down on top of a Greymon, which is very, very neat. And then all turns, once per turn, this card is removed. When a card is removed from your security stack, from a security stack, you may unsuspend this Digimon. That will work well against barrier, things like that, because barrier attacking and blocking, like so if they want to, it's very cool. So if you're playing against the barrier deck, they trash security to keep theirs from dying, unsuspends. You can block again. So puts pressure on that way. Also, it helps you because let's say you block the first one, they swing again, your user move and suspends. Okay, so you're able to get 2 blocks out of him, which is very neat. Very versatile card. Think you should play around with it. On to Wargreymon X Antibody. It's the last of our megas. I don't think it's the star of the show, to be honest. It is a great piece of tech. This deck, however, can almost run without it. This is just overkill, in my opinion, for some extra board control that you might need in this deck, since we don't run any option cards, minus Hades Force. So we don't run Gaia Force, anything like that. It's all turns when a card is removed from an opponent's security stack. You gain 1 memory. So you're checking for 4, you gain 4 memory. Nasty. It's always been great. And then end of attack, once per turn, if a Wargreymon or X anybody is in this Digimon's Digivolution cards, should be if you're doing it right, delete one of your opponent's Digimon with DP less than or equal to this Digimon's DP. Once again, this guy can get massive 25, 26,000 DP. You're deleting anything in your path. They better freaking have to evade or they're gone. So Wargreymon X, very great card. That's it. On to our level 7s. The Megas, Omnimon. You just need more win. You should always run Omnimon. No, I'm just kidding. I do like Omnimon. I think Blitz Omni's great. Now he's super accessible thanks to the release of RBO1. If you don't have a copy, go out and buy a box. You'll probably, a pack even, you'll probably pull one. Or just go buy you one. They're like $1 now. The alt arts, like I have even went down. So, yeah. When Digivolving, you can unsuspend this Digimon. All turns, if an opponent's effect would delete it, you can remove a level 6 to prevent it from leaving play by trashing that source. If you do it on top of Wargreymon or Greymon X anybody, you can survive twice. Very great card. And Omnimon X Antibody is our last level 7 of the deck. It is just insane. You get to, you know, delete a Digimon with a high, return all Digimon, sorry, not delete. It's return all your opponent's Digimon with the highest level to the bottom of the opponent's deck in any order. That's when Digivolving, and then when Digivolving, when attacking once per turn. By placing an X Antibody or level 6 from this Digimon's Digivolution cards to the bottom of my deck, I get to look at the opponent's security, pick one, and trash it. They shuffle their security afterwards. That's gross, because like I said, if you do this on top of Wargreymon X Antibody, you swing, you go activate the X Antibody option. You could be swinging for hopefully 3 checks with Greymon in effect. Sec tie, you're swinging for 2, 3 checks. You go ahead, swing, activate X Antibody. So you're going to go ahead and trash a security or swing for your 3 checks. I would probably go ahead and swing, trash the security, and then you can go ahead and do that. It's very nasty, you know, it's by stripping a source, stripping an X Antibody. Pretty good. Definitely win you the game there. Another win more button. That is it for our Digimon. Onto our Tamers. Wouldn't be a Wargreymon deck anymore if you didn't run the new BT12 tie. Start of your main phase and on play, one of your Digimon with Agumon or Greymon in its name gain plus 1000 DP and blocker until the end of your opponent's turn. Then your turn, when one of your Digimon digivolves into a Digimon card with Greymon or Omnimon in its name, you can suspend this and gain 1 memory. If you have all 3 of these out there and you haven't used it, you can go into Omnimon X for free or close to free. You can go into it for 1 if you had all 4 out. It's pretty gross, so definitely run it as a 4 of a must card. We run 1 Yuya. Kuga is great for either Wargreymon decks. I think he's utilized way more in Black Wargreymon. However, in this deck, it's definitely worth a 1 of, maybe even a 2 of, because it's your memory setter, and then when you digivolve into, you know, a Greymon in his name, you can suspend this Tamer. That Digimon gains plus 2000 DP until the end of your opponent's turn. If it digivolved in the same level, which would be an X Antibody card, your opponent's option cards don't work on you until the end of their opponent's turn. That can protect you while you swing. It's just gross. So 1 Yuya. Last Tamer of the deck, Tai Kamiya, BT1 Tai. You can get your hands on this super easy now. It's a great card. The memory setter, and then all turns when a red Digimon has 4 more Digivolution cards, you gain security plus 1. Yes, early aggression happens a ton. Great card. You should use it. 1 Tai. That's it for our Tamers. On to our options. 3X Antibody. We know what it does. It allows you to pull off some of the shenanigans in this deck. We run 3 of it. Wouldn't run 4 of it. And the last option card, if you're not playing Haiti Force in Wargreymon, what are you doing? It's a great card. It is Tamer hate. It is Digimon hate. Choose any number of your opponent's Digimon and or Tamers whose combined play costs are less than or equal to the play cost of your Digimon with Greymon in its name, and delete all the chosen cards. Then one of your Digimon with Greymon in its name may attack a player. Pretty gross. So, and then when you trash it from security, delete one of your opponent's Digimon with the highest play cost. There's no lose here. You play it from your hand. If you have X anybody, it only costs 5. If you hit it in security, you're deleting a big body that's probably putting damage on you. So, very good, especially if they knock that in the late game or when they, hit it with their Alphamon. Very good card. And that is it for us. Now, I will, like I said, I have mentioned you could run EX1 Greymon. That is a very good option. You can run, other things besides BT5 Greymon. You can run more security Greymons. You can run less. You can run more of the other Greymons. Also, a big question I've had is, why don't we run the coolest of boys? The reason I don't, this being a tech choice deck for my meta, Cool Boy ends up hurting me a lot of times. Due to my Greymons having so many techs and so many cards that I want to tech in or search for, depending on situations, this will bottom deck them. I may never see them the rest of the game. So if it was more a driven, normal, focused of I didn't need specific cards, if I just was doing 4 regular Greymon X, 4 regular Agumon X, 4 regular Greymon, 4, if I had that straight line, I think this is a great card. You can still run this card. Just in this version of the deck, you'll see why I don't. Because you reveal 3 cards, add 1 Digimon card with X antibody, and 1 option card with X antibody that traits among them. This deck done draws fast enough, and placing, like, let's say, I've wished for it before. If you've played a red X antibody deck, you've Digivolved in the back. You're like, oh, I've only got the X antibody. I've got to Digivolve Agumon X in the back. As soon as you do, when you draw your Digivolve, it's an Agumon. Same with Greymon. You're like, I don't have a Greymon. I'll Digivolve Greymon X antibody. You do it, draw the next card. Lo and behold, it's the Greymon you needed. But this, I felt like I was looking for cards. I would go ahead and play them out. I would feel real good. Now, yeah, when you get 3 of these on the board and you're tapping them all, when you go into your Metal Greymon X antibody for, plus 2 checks, maybe you got tie on the board, plus 3 checks, so 4 checks at, 15,000 DP, you gain a memory, you get 4 memory, you're just doing all kinds of crazy shenanigans. It feels good. However, when you bottom deck, an Omnimon, when you bottom deck a Wargreymon, when you bottom deck anything, a Metal Greymon, anything you were looking for with this card, it feels bad. It feels really bad. So I do not run it in there. I think that is most of the tech I can give for this deck. It's a great deck, and I think everyone should at least try to give it a try. If you don't or haven't played Wargreymon, give it a shot. It is a rather expensive deck for a lot of the Wargreymon cards, but a lot of them have dropped way down in price. So, like I said, this deck is super versatile. You can basically play anything you want in it. It's very good. You can play it red base, black Wargreymon. You can play black base, black Wargreymon for really control strategies. You can play this. You can add some more control mechanics to this version of the deck. You can make it extremely aggro, just straight gas going for everything. No control at all. Just boom, 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 boom. Plus 5 security. It's a great deck. And I think going into this current RB01 meta, this is not going anywhere. It's not going anywhere anytime soon. Jokes all you want, Greymon card game. Everybody was hating on Metal Gar, which is going to get amazing support in the late future. So Greymon needs to stay around. Gabumon's going to stay around. They're going to be around. This is the Digimon card game. You're always going to have support for most cards, and if Bandai keeps that up, give this a shot. Wargreymon Toolbox. Toolbox it out. Tell me the tech you use in it. Tell me the version you build, If you just build straight gas Greymon, if you build Black War Control, you know, this is a toolbox version. You can run Black Wargrey at your top end. You can run different Wargreymons at your top end. There's just so much variety. Leave your variety in the comments. I would like to know. I like testing out different trials of the deck. Maybe we can catch a few games in the digital simulator. But this is my version of the Wargreymon Toolbox. And that is it for me, guys. As always, leave a like. Be nice. Be safe. Peace.